thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Why I Love Flagler County, your local podcast spotlighting local businesses and local residents about what they love about being part of Flagler County. So today I'm super excited. I do have two guests with me once again. I think this is going to become a recurring theme. You guys are, I think, the third pairing I have, the third dynamic duo on with the podcast. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun. So thank you so much, Rob and Tracy, for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you for having us.
Of course. Well, I was connected with Tracy through a mutual friend of ours with Marissa Wilcox. And she said, and then Tracy reached out and she was telling me all about what they do for the community. And I said, oh my gosh, we should definitely talk about this because I don't think a lot of people know what you guys do or that you exist. And I'm so, so excited to spotlight it. So before we get into that, I'd love for you guys to kick it off. Tracy, I'd love for you to share a little bit about your journey coming here to Palm Coast, Flagler, and how's that been for you?
All right, thank you. I'm Tracy Farmer, and I'm relatively new to Flagler County. I've only been here since 2018, and I've worked for the department here since 2020. Originally came on as a fire paramedic in the field, and about 2 years ago transitioned into community paramedicine with Rob. So my journey's been short. Rob, on the other hand, his journey's been much longer.
Yeah, I feel like I've been here longer than some dirt has. So I actually moved up here from Vero Beach back in 2004. So I've been here now. I'm in my 20th year, almost at the end of my 20th year, going to start my 21st year, all with Flagler County Fire Rescue. I started out, I was only an EMT. I was the last EMT only that Flagler County has hired. I've since gone through paramedic school, gone through fire school, whole state Florida fire officer class certification. I'm a certified therapy dog handler. Yeah, jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing. And just like Tracy, we both got into this community paramedic program approximately 2 years ago now. Our program has been around for 5 years. It was started by a woman by the name of Karen Prather. So we owe a lot of this program to her. But during the COVID stuff, the community paramedics had to take a back seat because we did 2.5 years of nothing but COVID. So for the last year and a half, and Tracy and I have taken over, we've just kind of been growing our program to where it really needed to go. So yeah, that's pretty much where I've come from.
Wow, that's really cool. And it's so cool. We have people on like both sides of the spectrum of the Palm Coast, I think boom. Like I've talked to actually a lot of people recently who moved here in the 90s. I think Rob, you're maybe my fifth person in the past week who has been here since, those early days of Palm Coast. And I'm newer than you, Tracy, so I've only been here. I'm coming up on that 2 years. So there's still, I mean, to me, anyone who's been here longer than me is considered a veteran, but that's besides the point. But yeah, you guys talked a little bit about the community paramedic program and how you guys have kind of switched around to that. I'd love for you to explain, of course, number one, what is the community paramedic and what do you guys help with? Whoever
Rob?
wants to, yeah.
No, Tracy, you can go ahead. You're the one that loves to start it, and I just chime in.
We work together so much now that we feed off each other, and he finishes my sentences, and he knows when to jump in. So the start is, what is community paramedicine? Community paramedicine is the effort to bridge gap in healthcare and social service needs within the community. We only have 8 rescues in the county, and some of the things that people call 911 for are not necessarily something that would require a rescue, but because they're not sure of who to call or where to go for that resource, that's what ends up happening. When rescues are dispatched to a call, they don't really have the time available to do any social service work beyond, just meeting and greeting and getting the patient to the hospital or stabilized. So Rob and I can go back out and deal with people in a home setting with time and put effort into figuring out what do they really need. If it's somebody who's continuously falling, that person might need a home safety assessment, and we could determine that if we put some grab bars in the bathroom for them, took up some throw rugs and some extension cords, we might prevent them from falling, which eventually is going to cause an injury. So prevention and getting them to where they're not having to call 911 is definitely the goal, and it's a win-win for everybody involved.
Yeah, when Tracy talks about rescues, of course, those are our ambulances. And you figure last year alone, we ran over 18,000 medical calls, and we only have 8 ambulances for those medical calls. So we try to go out and we target the high user priority for those that, you know, have called 911 multiple times and, you know, probably 3, 4, 5 day period or whatever, and see, because sometimes, you know, when people call 911, sometimes they just lack information.
Sure.
So a lot of those times it's, you know, when we respond to a 911 call, that's not the time for us to try to sit there and explain and really sit down and have a heart to heart with people about, hey, this could be going on, this could be going on, this kind of thing. Our job is to get there, treat the immediate response, and then take them to the hospital. Well, where Tracy and I benefit from is that we can actually go out and we meet people in their homes, and we could sit down and we can connect with these people and be able to really kind of pinpoint what exactly their needs are, and, you know, how we can directly assist them. Even so much as medication consolidation, you know, things, you know, if they go to the hospital, you know, those, you know, 42-page packets that you get from discharge, and, you know, some those are confusing. And a lot of times people don't understand that. So, you know, we help them go through that kind of thing as well. So we're really, it's a whole plethora of different things that we can do, and we can do it more on a one-on-one basis instead of actually, you know, having to do it in an emergency setting at that time, because, you know, the emergency setting is not the time to do it. It's time to, you know, treat what we need to treat, transport them to the hospital, get them their care. That's where Tracy and I come in, and then we can go in, we can target certain things, because, you know, like I said, it could be as something as little as, oh, well, I've been taking too much of my medication. Well, have you been in contact with your primary care? Does you know these new changes are happening? Does anything like that have you notified anybody? It really, we connect more on a one-to-one basis.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad that you mentioned that. And I know Tracy mentioned the one example of like maybe someone's falling a lot, and that's the problem. Are there any like I'm sure you mentioned you have a plethora of places that you can help. What are a few like common reasons people can call you, just to give people that might be listening a little bit of a picture of like, okay, I kind of know what's going on. This is why I can call Rob or Tracy.
Well, we each have some areas that are kind of specialty. I like to deal with the elderly. I work with the homeless quite a bit, getting things, equipment, resource referral, Meals on Wheels, support groups, things like that within the community. Rob tends to work with, he has a really aggressive program that helps with opioid stabilization and treat that, which is really a great thing for Flagler County to offer to its residents. It's free of charge. I'll let him talk more about that. And then he also provides Narcan for the community as well.
Yeah, we have a program that we started back January of last year. It's called the CORE program, and it's coordinated opioid recovery here in Flagler County. It's Flagler County Fire Rescue, along with an organization called Flagler Cares and a peer support organization. And we target those that want to get help and want to get off of their opioid addiction. I can actually go out and administer their medication assisted treatment, initiate it in field at their home, things like that, prior to them getting in to see the MAP provider. So they can get their prescription for their buprenorphine or Suboxone or whatever medication that they want to be on. But I can start that in-field induction immediately, so there is no delay from the time that they want to seek help to the time that they actually get in to see the provider. And a lot of times, typically, they can see our provider within 7 days. So that's a very good thing, because, you know, I know down in Volusia County, sometimes there's a 3 to 6 week wait to get into their program and things like that. So with us being able to initiate that program with me starting their medication administration and then them getting to see a provider within a week, that's that's pretty good for those that want to get help and get help pretty quick. Along with that, as Tracy mentioned, we do a leave at home Narcan program. For those that are listening, do not buy Narcan at Publix for $59.99. If you want it, get a hold of us. We give it to you for free. So, yeah, Tracy, anything else?
Rob's pretty modest about his therapy dog contributions to the county, so I'll bring that up.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank you. I do have a therapy dog program. I've been trying to onboard with the county. I do, like I said, my dog, his name is Taco, and he's a purebred corgi. So he's all of 4 inches off the ground, but he's all of 30 pounds of love. So he is AKC certified as a therapy dog. I am AKC certified as a therapy dog handler. I use him in a variety of different things, with community paramedicine. We do a lot of our outreach for Flagler County Fire Rescue. So a lot of times you'll see me there, and then you'll see Taco as well. So anytime you guys want to come by and say hi, he's more than willing. He'll just walk up to your feet, sit at your feet, and say, "Pet me." So, yeah, that's Taco. That's the
Taco's
therapy dog
probably
program.
like the best name for a therapy dog, I think.
And then when you see him, he looks like an overstuffed burrito. So it's
I believe it.
better. Yeah, I don't know if I have.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's the.
That's
That's a
so
little.
cute. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. I love corgis. Corgis are my favorite dog. I
I don't know
don't.
if you can
Yeah.
see that, but that's a little collage.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
Taco, and then the picture here on the bottom, that's Teddy.
Oh,
That's Flagler County Sheriff's Office therapy dog. So a lot of times you'll see Taco and Teddy will be out together.
oh my
But
gosh.
that's Taco there. So, yep.
Oh my God. I love corgis so much. I used to have a gentleman in my neighborhood up in Michigan where I used to live, and he had, I think, like 2 or 3 corgis that he would walk outside every single day. So we would always see him in the morning and always see him at night, and they were just the cutest. But also, I'm so glad that you also brought up Narcan, that so many people like you guys provide it completely for free. And I know that, me and my family, we've picked up some things of Narcan, and we always keep one in all of our cars and nearby. And there was even an instance where my parents had to use it. There was I don't want to talk about the situation mostly because I wasn't there, so I can't really remember it. I don't really remember the story, but it was one of those experiences where they were so lucky that they had it in their car, and they really helped a woman out at Walmart of all places. It was completely random. I don't think she was like a drug addict or anything like that, but
Well,
it
the
was one of those
biggest
things.
to go on to that, the biggest thing that Tracy and I try to convey when it comes to something like this is that Narcan has that stigma. It's only for the addict. It's only for the
Right.
user. It absolutely is not. It is for everybody. I mean, I keep one in my car. I keep one at home because number one, over the weekend, especially during race weekends or racing season, I get everybody over at the house and we do barbecues at the house and all that stuff. My mother, she's 76 years old, so it's like, all right, well, I forget sometimes in the morning when I'm taking my medication, and then I go shower and I get my cup of coffee, go do my morning routine. It's like, oh, did I take my medication? Well, I'll take another dose. I'm like, it happens more often than you actually believe, that people just over medicate themselves on accident because they don't remember that they took their medication.
Right.
We've been in churches on Sundays where we've had to administer the Narcan to grandma that's in there because she took a second dose of her medication because she forgot. So it's not just for the addict, it's for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because there definitely is that stigma. And it's just one of those things that's, if you can get it for free, which, you guys supplied, and I know plenty of people supply, like if you go to any event where there's vendors, there's always going to be someone there who supplies free Narcan. It would be, I think, silly to not just have something nearby, you know. It just makes sense. And
Right. Now,
especially since that story, I've definitely been a big believer of that.
one thing I will tell you though, that if you do keep it in your car, especially when it gets hot here in Florida,
Sure.
because it only gets about 3 million degrees inside your car.
Yeah.
You need to change that medication out every 3 months, because even though there's an expiration date on it, and typically it's for about 2 years or so, but if you have it in the heat of your car, that medication evaporates. So you need to actually swap it every 3 months.
That's a great point. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Um, What are the best ways that people can get a hold of you, or maybe like have your information saved just in case something happens? What's the best way that they can, keep up with what you guys are doing?
I share my cell phone, my work cell phone number with everybody. It's 386-507-3415. Rob and I share a email as well. He can provide that for referrals for anybody that just has questions or wants us to go check on somebody. They can provide that information.
You can also call us at our office at 386-313-4260. Our offices are located in the Emergency Operations Center, which is behind the Government Services Building, or AKA the tax collector on State Road 100, and the courthouse. We're actually a building behind that. So that number again is 386-313-4260. That's our direct line to our office. You can leave a voicemail there. And we return calls within 24 hours. So unless it's the weekend, because we're only Monday through Friday, but yeah, we return people's calls within 24 hours. And the email address that you can send an email to is C as in Charlie, OMM, that's Mary, Paramed, PARAMED @flaglercounty.gov.
Perfect. So I'll make sure I also have those in the description so people can save those, they can remember those, and they can find that just a little bit easier. Because I really am so glad that you guys came on here and shared a little bit about what you do, how you help, and what you help with. I think that's really important for people to just know. Because like you mentioned, not a lot of people know that you guys do this and are able to do this for the community. So I'm so glad that we're able to talk about that. Really quick, before we wrap it up, I mean, you guys both have been here, I think, for a decent amount of time. What do you guys like to do around Flagler County that maybe us new people don't know of? Events, groups, places to go, anything like that? Tracy, if you
Well,
want to start.
I'm going to just bring up one thing. It seems to be that in the last year and a half, the weekends, the first weekend of every month has really taken off with our CPR class. So it's a given that Rob and I are going to be doing a CPR class at some point in time. So we encourage everybody that wants to get CPR certified BLS provider to come to our first Saturday of every month class for $5 at the EOC. And they, again, can reach out to us. But that has been something that's really taken off. And we've ended up doing quite a few classes and then actually scheduling classes with civic groups as well after that. So just from this job, I'm learning so much. I went to a Parkinson's support group meeting not too long ago. We have networking with dementia groups as well, grief support, things like that. So as far as entertainment, I appreciate the fact that we can have the ocean one side of us, and then we also have plenty of fresh water available too, because I do like the water. Rob, like ride his motorcycle.
Yeah, I'll go out, and I ride the motorcycle. People are always like, "Oh, firefighter that rides a motorcycle. What is he, crazy? Because he sees all that stuff." Blah blah blah. I don't know. I've had motorcycles since I was a kid, so that's me. Um, there's a lot of events that usually go on. You'll see us out there as far as fire rescue goes. The Flagler Beach Women's Club just had their chili cook-off over in Flagler Beach. My chili won People's Choice. So I also cook the chili when we're out there up at Princess Place for that. I cook the chili against the cops up there. So there's so many different things that the county puts on that, number one, we're tied up and we're busy all the time. But as far as fun, there's always something going on. And usually you can find that information either through the City of Palm Coast website, or you can find it on the Flagler County website as well. So
Okay.
there's always stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, if you like riding motorcycles, it's a big week coming up now.
But it's funny. The longer that you've been involved with that kind of stuff, the more you tend to stay away from it.
I can understand that. I
After
can understand that. After
after
a time, it gets a little overwhelming. I'm not
after, after a
I'm
few
not gonna be
years,
surprised now.
after a few years, it's like, okay, I've had my fill. I've done my bike week stuff. It's like, right now I can still go, but then I still know all the back ways to get around stuff. So
I think knowing the back ways is probably the smartest thing one can do when a week like this. And if anyone's listening way far out in advance or anything like that, it's bike week that's coming up, and that's what we're referring to. Yeah, because I used to live up in Michigan, and I used to live in like about 30 or 40 minutes from downtown Detroit. And if anyone follows cars, there's the Woodward Dream Cruise. That's a big one. So I don't go now. I you didn't really go down that area, but if need be, we knew all the back roads around. That was a big week for a lot of people. So I've been there my fair of what's it called, like motor events.
yeah, big
They're really
festival
beautiful
events.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. I
It's
mean,
really
it's a lot
cool.
of fun, don't get me wrong. And I still
Yeah.
go and I'll go down and hang out the Iron Horse, and I'll go down there at least because you got to get their steak tips at least once.
Oh,
It's amazing. But yeah, I'll go down, and the good thing is from here, we can get to the Iron Horse in 20-25 minutes. So
right.
it's close, you know.
Yeah.
So if you want to get out, go down in that area where the Beaver Bar and the Iron Horse and all that stuff is, it's not too far away, and then you're not 100% in the traffic. So, you know,
That's the best way to do it. Well, Rob and Tracy, thank you guys so much for your time. I really enjoyed this. This has been so informational and educational for me, and I know so many people out there will also benefit from this information. So I thank you again for this time. It's been really fun.
thank you for
Thank
having us.
Of course, and to everyone listening, thank you guys so much as well. I really appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Bye.